Hey guys, welcome back to Fog's Garage. Maybe you're here for the first time. If you are, thank you for joining. What I'm here today to do is do another video, properly this time, on how to do Rust-Oleum on concrete. So what I first need to do is get all this stuff behind me, not on the concrete I want to put it on. So I'm gonna move all that stuff over here, and I'm gonna time lapse you guys right through that so you guys don't have to watch all the boring stuff. All right, now that we got all of that cleaned up, I'm gonna move the camera from here to over there so we can see all of that side. Yeah, let's do it. We're on the other side, kind of. The side I wanna be on, not the other side. The other side from where we were, but that we are on now. Yeah. Anyway, there's a bit more stuff to clean up. So I'm gonna go do that. And we're gonna time lapse that too. Or we could do it in real time. No, I'm not doing it in real time. All right. Finally got all that done and cleaned up. What I did along the edge, particularly this one right here, since the drywall hangs over the edge, what I learned on the other side was to knock down any of the drywall mud that they left on the bottom. So I did that while I was vacuuming that edge right there. For me, for half of the 2-bay, so basically a single car side, I got about a bag to that, which is half of the 2.5 car garage kit. And I had some left over. My concrete's like brand new and it's got a really, really fine finish on it. The actual etching process makes this concrete more abrasive than it is finished currently. It's done for the night. It's almost midnight here, or is. I don't know. It's like, I can't really do a whole lot more loud things and I need to spray coming up. So I'll do another video. The next step should be etching. I'll double check with the manual and I'll edit this out if I'm wrong, because that's how I roll. But I am wrong. It is not etching first. I've got to prep the concrete. Got to get your steps in order. This side has the same problem as the other side. There's some joints that are not quite as smooth, but I'm also not going to pay nearly as much attention to detail because you can't tell. Like some of the spots, it's just the finish, the epoxy goes over well enough that you wouldn't be able to see any of the major defects. To the point of on the wall, I can't see the holes that I know were there when I was painting the epoxy on. So I'm not going to go crazy detailed on the floor. I do need to break up some of the concrete that's on top of my relief seams, such as right in that area, that brown area right at the seam where the foundation and the concrete slab is. So I need to clean up that edge so that I don't paint over it. So that I think is going to take me the longest amount of time for the pre-prep to etching, but it's got to be done. There is, let's see, it's right about there. It's just on the other side of the door. There is a decent sized imperfection on there, and I want to get that at least gone. So I will get out the angle grinder and the concrete grinding cup and take all of that out so that I can have a better finish. So I'll be back tomorrow for some more work, and you'll see that right now. A few things changed, like light, and it's been like, I don't even know how many days. But who cares? Anyway, taking care of the concrete, Let's get to it. All right, for the next part, we need a bucket, mainly for measuring. The acid that came in the mix, which is 2 of these packets. So I'm gonna do about half with this one, and then I'll use the other one for the other one. And the other thing we need, I don't have with me, but it's back there. It's a watering pail. And you'll use that to spread the etch over the concrete. So what this is intended to do is give your concrete a little bit more bite to adhere to the Rust-Oleum product that we're going to be putting on after this, after it dries. We're going to put this on after we mix it, put it in the pail, pour it around. What I'm looking for when I'm doing the etching is I'm going to wait between 3 and 5 minutes, making sure it stays wet the entire time, preferably with more of the acid. And what we'll want to do is look for fizzling, kind of like a pop fizz or extreme, like a really, really small bubbly soda. Those are the best ways I can describe it. I'll try to get some footage of it. This concrete is not reacting very much when I did the other side. So I'll do my best. I'll try and get you some video so you can see what I'm talking about. Basically, I just got to catch the light just right and kind of look at the layer, the surface layer of the water, and see if it's popping with little freckles. This is a citric acid, so that you do want to be careful with it. They recommend wearing gloves and glasses. I didn't do that the last time, and I don't feel like doing it this time, even though I would recommend you do it. But I'm not gonna do it because I don't feel like it, which is dumb, because if you get this in your eyes, you gotta wash your eyes out for 20 to 30 minutes with water. That sounds super sucky. But there's risks. I'm gonna go do some acid stuff now. Okay, I forgot a couple things. So that comes in a crystalline type material structure. You'll put it in the bucket, mix it up with water. It is 1 packet to 2 gallons. So mix it up in that ratio until it's completely diluted in the water. Then the other thing you have to do is pre-wet the surface and remove most of the moisture. They say to use a squeegee. I used just my broom. Worked out pretty well because you're using the broom on the acid etch anyway. So it was just convenient to use the same thing for me. What I'm seeing as I look at that reflection of a hinge on my garage door, you might see a little deformations or poppings. It's kind of what you're looking for. There's an audible acid type burning sound. You can also hear it. So just keep an eye on it, make sure it stays wet for probably 3 to 5 minutes. You want most of the acid to calm down before you want to wash it off and repeat on the next section. Time to find a safer spot for the camera than, water and electronics. What, you don't think it's safe? Well, let's find out. I'm kidding. Of course I wouldn't risk the camera. About as good as I can get it since I need to push water underneath the garage door and I don't want to put the camera in line of that. So it's slightly off to the side. You're gonna catch not some sections over there, but there's not that much interesting over there anyway. So I'm gonna get that extension cord out of the way before I start spraying. And then keep going. I'll probably fast take this part because it's more of just the same crap for 3 more times. It's the next day, evening. But what I'm gonna do is do one more final vacuum on this. I did spot check it, and there doesn't seem to be any massive amounts of powder or any residue left behind, so I think we're good there. It should be awesome to start prepping and getting stuff on the floor. So the full product is the Rust-Oleum Rock Solid, and we're doing the dark gray. So it comes in that 2.5 car garage one. It comes with 2 of these packets, which you have anywhere between 45 minutes and an hour to lay this down, and it takes about that long per section. So pace yourself. The hotter it is, the faster, or the closer to 45 minutes that actually is. With me doing the edging along the sides here, and then the back, and then probably underneath the wall on that side, that really cuts my work time down on the floor. If you're not doing your sides, probably won't be as important to try to rush through it, but for me, I'm gonna have to be trying to work really quickly. I'm also gonna have to be trying to stretch this about as far as I can because I am doing the sides, in addition to that I have 5 squares. It's about 43 feet long in this section. I found a disposable container for my edging. You'll want something to put your edging in, and I highly recommend a disposable paintbrush. You theoretically could clean them. I was not having a lot of good luck cleaning when I was using the stuff on the other side. I went and bought some cheap 3-inch brushes with this exact intention in mind. Also, I'd recommend this being a disposable container as well, for the same reason. You really don't want to clean this stuff up. It does come with 2 foam rollers. Comes with 2 foam rollers. So utilize their stuff. You will need your roller, which I've got to go find that, but after vacuuming. It does also come with the flakes. These are completely optional. You do not have to put it down. If you just want all solid color or whatever color choice you did, you can do that. In my opinion, it gives it a little bit more texture, so therefore it gives it a less likely chance that I will slip, particularly with some of the stuff I'm working on. There'll be fluids on the floor, and I want as much chance to not slip as possible. However, I did not go with the Rust-Oleum add-in where it makes it a textured feel. I'm not even sure how that would work on these ones. That's more designed for the ones you pre-mix into a bucket or something, and then afterward you can use that. These ones are a fold-in packet where they've got parts A and B in a single packet, and you roll the packets together and mix it for a while, about 3 to 4 minutes, and then you just cut open a slit on there and then pour it out in sections. They recommend about 4-foot sections at a time and stretching that back. I found the roller. So yeah, it comes in a part A and a part B. Roll that out as you're working on it. Hopefully my example will be enough to tell. Not crazy difficult. It's kind of like painting a wall, except it's a little more tacky. Since I used 2 packets for both sides of the garage, I took 2 of these plus 2 of the metallic flake one, and I have it in a bucket. And I still think there's plenty left over from the last one, so I'm not adding those other 2. I did do, I would say, a medium flake on the other side, so I'm going to be trying to replicate that. When I was doing sides to sides, it was a little bit easier because you could see about how heavy you were doing it, so you could just throw more if it wasn't quite enough. So just make sure you're doing it consistently so there's no discrepancies in the visual effect. I think even if you were to do it a little bit heavier on one side, and then in my case where I'm starting way down here, if it is fairly consistent by the time they meet together, it shouldn't be as much of a visual distraction. Pretty sure. Haven't tried this, but I'm also not going to pay to find out. This stuff is expensive as it is already. No additional flakes. We'll use the flakes from the last side. The other thing, as with everything, this is all about prep work and following the instruction. In this particular circumstance, I'm up against a wall against nature right now. It's supposed to take a nasty dive towards the lower freezing points after today, so I've got to get it done today. I took the temperatures of the garage floor and the sidewalls, which those ones there. And it was at the minimum I saw 62 degrees, and the minimum temperature it can be is 40. They really recommend it being 55, so I'm right at that edge of being a little too cold already. The ambient air temperature in here still stays pretty warm, so I'm not worried about that. You might be able to see that my seams actually roll. So I'm cutting all those edges in, but there's one that actually is underneath the garage door. That's gonna be outside. So I need to have that be relatively close to the right temperature. And outside, it's gonna be right at that minimum temperature. So I gotta get going because it's gonna get colder, and I wanted to start drying as much as I can before it hits closer to that 40-degree temperature. It does extend the drying times when you're doing at a colder temperature. I do still recommend doing it in cooler temperature. When I did the other side, when it was starting to get warmer outside, I did notice a massive difference in the drying times on the backside, and I had to rush even more. So go on the cooler side if you have the option. Start in the evenings maybe, depending on what time of year you may be looking at doing this. Winter, depending on your area, may not even be an option. Also depending on how far back you're doing, where you're doing it. If it's inside of a house, that may not even be a problem. Though, if you're doing it inside of a house, I would recommend making sure you have some sort of ventilation. This stuff does get a bit noxious when you start putting it out. It wasn't bad enough that I felt I needed a respirator last time, but it was noticeable. I am also cornered on where I can put the camera. Because I can't put it down and then wait 8 hours and then do the other side after I can put the camera on it, I'm just gonna be speed going through this. I'll probably trim out the sections where you can't really see me, which is gonna be mainly in the section I'm standing on, and maybe even this one right here. Well, it's not even the one you're seeing, it's the one below that one. So I'll probably show the camera for at least these 2 sections, probably cut the rest, because there's no point, you won't see anything. And it's just the same stuff over and over again. The process is, I'm gonna trim the edges, gotta grab my blower, because what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get flakes, throw them on the floor and blow them up against there. I found that to be the best solution, but you gotta do it right after you paint it on. You can't do a section, go really long ways, and then expect it to stick. It didn't work. I tried it over there on that first section I painted, and it did not turn out. It wouldn't stick to the paint. So you gotta do a smaller section, blow the flake on, that way you get adherence. The nice thing about the Rust-Oleum Rock Solid is you can walk on it in at least 8 hours and drive on it in 24. So I'm hoping by this time tomorrow, what I'll be able to do is start pulling all this stuff back over here so we can park in the garage again, especially with it getting down into the 40s and 20s over the next few days. All right, guys, it's done, it's dry. Let's take a closer look. A lot of it turned out really well. There was one section when I switched bags, I changed bags, and it was right at the beginning of that bag that it didn't go glossy. I think I might have re-rolled that a little late. One pass through to get the paint and then went back and re-rolled it for some reason. Double check the video footage on that, but Other than that, I'm not sure what I did differently in that one section than I did anywhere else along this whole thing. Now that it's time to move stuff back. All right, guys, that is everything for this episode. That was a lot of work. I'm tired now. It's been a long week. I'm working on some electronic stuff very soon, and maybe a car or two coming up. Just depends. Gotta get some finances squared away for the cars. I have some fun stuff I'd like to do in the future, but way outside my price range right now. If you like this episode, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. If you didn't like this episode, go ahead and give me a thumbs down. If you're awesome, you'll actually put a comment as to why you thumbs down, though. Appreciate you guys. Hope you have a fantastic day, and we'll see you guys next time.